Hello, my vibrant friend, my lost, my broken, my tired, maybe frustrated friend. It is such a great space to be a part of. Welcome to this community. I am so honored that you would choose to spend time with me and consider where you are at in life. This is probably going to spike some emotions from you. You're probably going to be like, Crystal, I don't know, you're hitting a nerve there. And I kind of hope I do. Because that's when we come most alive, when we feel those feelings and we tap into them. So thank you for being here. This session was written with you in mind. You are so loved. You are so valuable. And you have so much to offer the world. I know that the people in your life know that. But here's the thing, my friend. If you don't know that, if you don't embody that with every fiber of your being, you're going to get comfortable living a life that's complacent. You might just get content. You might get into the same old, good enough. But I know you. I know you want more. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want more from life. More joy, more peace, and dare I say, even more love. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a big question here. Do you love yourself? This all comes down to yourself. And I mean, like, deep down, you love, you respect, you honor who you are and what you have in the world. And here's one of the keys you're going to know if you love yourself. When somebody criticizes something about you, when somebody says something that you're like, ooh, that kind of gets you a little bit prickly, you don't instantly start to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I can change. I won't do that again. Or can you feel the feelings and think, I actually like myself and I'm okay with that piece of me. Do you love yourself, honor yourself, know what you have to offer the world? That's a hard one to really answer. We say yes, but sometimes our actions and our words will indicate otherwise. So if somebody comes up to you and they want you to change, do you allow yourself to feel the hurt, but then take a moment to pause and realize that, no, I'm okay. When someone is frustrated with you and they criticize you, how do you respond to that? Do you carry their opinions as absolute truth? Or do you recognize that other people are entitled to their own viewpoint? That doesn't actually reflect on who you are. So I'm going to share a situation where I really, truly, deeply came to understand this in one of the hardest lessons I have ever had in my life. And maybe you can relate. So I was early on in my marriage. I had 2 little kids at home, and my husband came home and he was like, you know what? I'm not sure I want to be with you. I'm not sure I like you. And in that moment, he wanted to take a break and really just think about life. I had a couple of options in that moment. I could have said, oh, I'll change, I'll do whatever you want. And did I think about what was happening? Did I have a whole lot of hurt? Did I question, was I a bad person? Was there something wrong with me? Absolutely. But as devastated as I was, I didn't realize at the time that God was handing me one of the greatest lessons that I would have to carry with me. You see, I was raised in a home where my parents were back and forth. I didn't know if they were together one day to the next. It just depended on which way the wind went. And I knew for certain I did not want that for my kids. And I'm going to dare say, even more importantly, I didn't want that for myself. I wanted to model to my children what it was like to love myself and respect myself. So after all the tears were shed, I remember sitting on that bathroom floor and thinking, good frickin' Lord, if I have not shown him enough, of who I am and what I have to offer in the world, there's nothing else I can do for him. There's nothing else I can do. He is better to just move along and do something else than for me to try to convince him of something else. And so I ask you again, do you love yourself? If somebody really were to criticize you, would you have the courage to say, you know what, that's okay. That's okay. We don't have to be on the same page. I know who I am and what I have to offer the world. Boy, was he shocked when he came home. I found my voice in that moment. So what do you love about yourself? What are you most proud of? Now, if you have a piece of paper, if you're watching the replay, you can write that you're watching the replay. I'm going to have you pause it if you're on the replay. If you're live, you're just going to have to come back to this. But here's my question to you that I really want you to take time to journal. What am I most proud of? What am I most proud of? I am resilient. I am vibrant. I have overcome. I have loved. What am I most proud of? So do you love yourself all on your own, regardless of your relationship status or which friend you're hanging out with? Or are you somebody who really relies on the connection with other people to determine your perceived value? Another really important lesson came from that. All those tears that were shed. It was in that moment when I could release my husband of the pressure to complete me. You know, we hear this all the time. I need this other person to complete me. I need to be in this friendship. I need to stay connected. I need this job title. I need this, whatever, fill in the blank to complete me. I realized in that moment, I was entirely complete on my own. I knew I was a good person, a great mom, a great teacher, a friend. And my job was not to convince him of that. He either chose to see the good in me or he didn't. But I saw the good in myself and I no longer needed that validation. So consider yourself and where your validation is coming from. Are you relying on someone else? Are you relying on a status? Are you relying on something that is outside of you for your own validation? As we went on and we rebuilt our marriage, I have always carried that with me, but he also carries that with him. We are both entirely complete on our own, but at the same time, we absolutely love and adore each other. We love hanging out and making out and going places and doing all of the things that come from going through those really nitty-gritty hard times. But who I am is separate from my relationship status, from my job title, from all of those things. And so I challenge you today to really think about, where does your validation come from? And who are you? Our lives are better because we have each other in them, but we don't need. And so when you choose something, you get to own that power. When you choose that feminine energy of knowing that I'm going to be all right in this situation. What if yes? What if no? It's okay. All the what ifs are okay because I know I'm going to be okay. So do you love yourself? What do you love most about yourself? And what are you most proud of? Really take some time after this to really consider that. Know that it is your job to see the value in yourself. It is not your job to convince anybody else of your value, not your partner, not your children, not your boss. When you show up fully, when you show up vibrantly, when you work hard and give all that you have to what's in front of you, that is enough, my friend. Recognize the value you hold within yourself. It is not your job to convince other people. Most people are going to see the value in you. They're going to recognize it. They're going to respect it. They're going to love you. And there's nothing you can do to convince other people of who you are. They've already made up their mind. So repeat after me. I am loved. I am worthy of love. I expand in abundant love every day. And so if you struggle with that, hold those words. Hold the truth in those words. I am loved. I am worthy of love. I expand in abundant love every day. In my new course, Life by Design, we're going to really dive into this work of unpacking what you love most about yourself and what forms your identity. My friend, you are the whole book. Every word, every sentence, every chapter, you are all of it. Be empowered to embrace all that you are. She laughed. She cried. She conquered. She is you. You are the whole book, my friend. Whatever you tell yourself, whatever you listen to, you will believe. So in this moment, take a deep breath. We're going to really deep breathe in and exhale. Notice your shoulders drop. Do this again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel your shoulders drop further. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now think of a memory you are deeply grateful for. Put yourself there right now. What do you see? What do you hear? Walk through that space. Moving through it, touch something in your memory. Who is there with you? Walk towards something that you are truly grateful for, that is truly magical. Feel how it feels to be in that space. Those sounds, that smell, that energy. Relive the moment that you are grateful for. How do you feel? Is there a part of your body that you can feel more than another? Now move yourself into a space in the near future, a month from now, 6 months from now, with something you have accomplished. What is one goal? One little thing. It can be big, it can be small, but what is something that you want to have happen? Experience it. Bring it to life. What are you saying? What are you feeling? It's already done. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. And slowly come back out of your memory of what's going to happen. Bring yourself into this present moment. I am grateful for today. I am grateful for that which will happen. My friend, embrace that and power that. How did that feel to practice gratitude in the form of reliving a memory? Was it easy for you to come up with something that you are absolutely grateful for in this moment that makes you feel alive and filled with joy and maybe even brings out a smile as you're thinking about it? Or did you struggle with stepping back into that moment? When we think of gratitude, so often we think of, oh, we're told to keep a journal, write down a list, do all the things. And yes, that written form is so powerful. Write those things down, but elaborate on them and then visualize them. take that next step and put yourself into those moments of everything you are grateful for, relive those experiences, then step into the gratitude of achieving your goal or something you want to accomplish. And these don't have to be big things. They might be, but they don't have to be. Recognize how this feels. What are you struggling with, friend? What is that thing where you're like, Crystal, you have no idea? Okay, you got no idea what I'm doing right now. You have no idea where I'm coming from, where I'm going. You don't realize how life is hard. We all have barriers. We all have stuff. But what are those barriers that are holding you back from experiencing your accomplishments, from experiencing all of your success? And again, when you have a moment, go back and write it out. What do I struggle with? What barriers are preventing me from accomplishing my goals and feeling success? Perhaps it comes back to that self-worth. When you're thinking about your goal, ask yourself, do I deserve this? What limits are you placing on yourself? Do you believe you are worthy of love, of money, of a position? If that voice in your head is constantly telling you, you're not worthy, you always mess up, you make all of those big mistakes, somebody else deserves this more than you, you're going to self-sabotage. You're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. So really pay attention. When you want something, how are you responding to that? What are your thoughts as you're going through that? In the Life by Design course, starting in January, we're really going to dig into this. We're going to unpack the lies that you tell yourself, and we're going to unpack the mindset that is sending us blocks and that we're just not addressing. We're just not thinking them through. And then we're going to release them. We're going to set those free because it's time to step into a more vibrant version of our already wonderful selves as we learn to love ourselves and step into who we are. Release that connection between other people's opinions of you and your own self-worth. You've probably been in a situation where you've heard your boss be like, oh, we need to get this guru in. Oh, we need to hire this person. We need to go to this place. And you're looking around the table going, dude, there are people right in this room who can solve this problem. We do not need to go somewhere else. Release the connection between other people's opinions and your own self-worth. There are moments when it's important to recognize there's a leadership gap and not a gap in the ability of yourself or the other people around your table. The moment we realize we are not living the life we want, we need to pay attention to where we are and consciously take care of those needs. So if they're physical, if you're thirsty, drink water. If you're feeling sluggish, go for a walk, take your vitamins, take your fiber, whatever it is. And you may be listening to this going, but Crystal, I need to do these things. I need to do crafts with my kids or bake cookies or do Christmas decorations. No, if you are tired, you need rest. If you have a little one, you give them a bowl of goldfish in a juice box, you put on a movie and you have a nap. That's what you need to do. You don't need to be pushing yourself with this masculine energy to get things done. You need to embrace who you are and what you need. You need to model that self-care. Then rise and conquer. Know that you are worthy. Know that you have everything you need. Gaps. gaps, all the gaps. We've heard of gaps before. John Maxwell teaches us about several gaps that we as humans have that hold us back. And a gap is simply just that. It is a space between where we are and where we want to go. But there's one that keeps coming up with some of my coaching clients, and that is the timing gap. So I'm like, you know what? We need to address the timing gap right now. We just need to get this one off the table. The timing gap could sound like, oh, I don't have enough money right now. I've got to do the next thing. Or, oh, I can't start a family until my house is paid off. Or, oh, I can't go back to school because the kids are too little or I'm too old. Or, let me break the news to you. There will never, I mean, ever be a perfect time for anything. There just isn't. Life is wild and crazy and spontaneous and predictable and entirely unpredictable. There's never the perfect time. Whatever you have in your mind that you're waiting for, you need to ask yourself, is this just a story I'm telling myself? Or is there a real reason as to why I can't do something? So I'm going to give you an example. When I went to go back to do my master's, I had a long conversation with my principal at the time, and I was really torn. I had 2 little girls at home. My husband was working overseas. Full time, all of the things. And I just was like, I don't know. What if this isn't the right time? What if I don't pick the right program? What if this? What if that? And he just said to me, Crystal, if you want to make it happen, you will make it happen. And there is never the right time. He said to me, my kids were older when I took my master's. It wasn't the right time. My buddy, his kids were younger. It wasn't the right time. But there's a few things you have to keep in mind. If you have a goal, if you have somewhere you want to go and you're using time as the excuse for not making it happen, you need to ask yourself, is this really important? Is this really important to me? Because if it is, you will find a way. You may need to adjust your expectations. You may need to figure out logistics. You may have to put some things on hold. When we put things onto our plate, we need to make sure we are also taking things off of the plate. But really have a heart-to-heart with yourself and ask yourself, am I not doing this because I can't? Or is it something else? Perhaps it's fear. Perhaps there's something else that's holding you back. Another example I was thinking about this and I'm like, gosh, the thing with timing is something will come up. We'll have an opportunity for something. And it's almost like we put a ceiling on ourselves and we don't allow ourselves to level up to that next level of whatever that may be. And I have one of my most respected mentors. She had applied for a promotion and went through all of the different steps, was offered the promotion, was really excited. And then she got a call from her doctor. She had cancer and would be starting treatments immediately. Well, she went to the hiring committee of the people who had hired her for this big promotion. And she's like, I just don't think it's the right timing. I don't think I'll be able to do this. This is the situation. I have treatment starting. It's just not meant to be. And fortunately enough, she had a very wise group of people who had hired her. And they said, you are the best person for this position. This is why we've offered you this job. And so it is the right time and you do have life to take care of, but we're going to support you through this. So fortunately for her, she did not relinquish it. She went with it. She took the job and she changed the structure of the organization that she was with. And she did it through the treatments. I had applied for a position within her organization and she interviewed me in a hospital gown, getting her cancer treatments in the hospital. And I just thought, what a powerful lesson. When we want something bad enough, we don't make excuses for it. We find solutions and we work through it. She could have easily said, wrong time, not for me, can't do it. I'll stick with what I know. I'll stick with what's easier. But she didn't do that. So what excuse are you making, my friend? Because an excuse is a sign that you don't actually want to do the task. There's something deeper that's holding you back. Own your power. If you don't want to buy something, say no thanks. It doesn't fit with what I'm doing. If you don't want to volunteer for something, no thank you. It doesn't fit right now. But know your priorities, live them, and then everything else will fall into place. When I work with my clients, I trust them to make the right decision for themselves. You know what your right step is to take. So, what is that next step for you? Trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, ask yourself why. What is the story you're telling yourself that's holding yourself back? Okay, we're going to think about a little bit of magic now. Let's shift gears a little bit here. Magic seeker. Are you a magic seeker, or do you look for all the things that are wrong? Are you that person who's like, ooh, something good is going to happen. I can just feel it. Or are you like, oh, no, something's going to go wrong. The sky's going to fall. The shoe's going to drop. Let me tell you, there is no shoe. It's not going to drop. Everything is okay. We need to embrace the magic. Have you ever been with a little person? Like 18 months to 2 years old. I will forever treasure the very first time my oldest daughter discovered rain. We were walking out of our house and I was holding her. She was little. And then the rain starts coming down and she holds out her hand in wonder and went, wet, mommy. And I looked at her and I thought, the magic of water falling out of the sky. Of course that's magical. I had lost the wonder and the magic of everyday things that happen all the time. Let's commit to that magic and wonder. When we seek that, we just show up different. Our energy is different, right? Another time, a group of friends and I were going hiking in the mountains, and there was this really highly sought after lake. It's called Moraine Lake. Impossible to ever get a parking spot to. You actually can't park there anymore. Now you can just take shuttle buses. But a few years ago, they still had a parking lot. And we had read all the online reviews, all the things. We knew most people were at this parking lot by 4 a.m. and we were like, oh, we're not that committed. We really wanted to go to this lake, but we weren't that committed. And so we thought, it's okay. We're going to get a spot. It's going to open up for us, because what if it works out? What if yes means yes? What if maybe means yes? And so we're driving along and we come up to the parking lot and the flag person standing there. Keep driving. Parking lot's full. That's okay. We continue on. We go to the next lake. We have a fabulous day and we're leaving that lake. And all we can think is, we're going to stop and see Moraine Lake. It's going to happen. Now, remember, this lot is full all the time. You don't get parking there. It just doesn't happen. But we just thought maybe means yes. Maybe we will get a spot. And so as we were coming up, you could see the person in front of us. Nope, keep driving. And we're like, that's okay. There's a spot right there for us. It's waiting for us. And lo and behold, we get up to that parking lot and the flag person flags us in. Well, I tell you what, our whole van erupted in cheer. We were so excited. It was like we had won the lottery, magic, getting a parking spot. When was the last time that you felt magic over those little things? Over the rain, over the snowflakes, over getting a great parking spot, over having somebody in the coffee lineup pay for your coffee, and truly just feel all those feelings. Those things feed into all areas of our life. When we think of our life by design, when we think of living a more vibrant life, we need to own our power and think about how that comes into our relationships. Think about forgiveness. Forgiveness. That's a tough one. Sometimes we can forgive our kids pretty easily. Sometimes we can forgive our colleagues pretty easily. They're kind of low stakes ones. Sometimes we can even forgive people of really big hurts pretty reluctantly, but easily. But do you forgive yourself? Can you say to yourself, man, I messed up. I messed up with my budget. My relationship is crap. Crystal, my kids are hardly talking to me. Blah, blah, blah. Friend, I guarantee you, you are being too hard on yourself. And if you are struggling with embracing all of your story, you are allowing that to limit you from experiencing your life fully. So repeat after me. I release myself of all my perceived mistakes I have made. I release myself of all my perceived mistakes I have made. Perhaps they were a series of actions put in place by a higher purpose to teach me or the people around me what was needed to step into our full stories. I release the hurt that was caused to me by others. Let it go. I know now that their actions had nothing to do with me, but rather is a reflection of their skills, their understanding, their own hurts. I honor all that the hard lessons have brought me as I move into a newer, more powerful version of myself. I am ready to let go. And for the areas that I still struggle with, I honor the journey of understanding what is binding me to that situation so that I can release it. I was created to rise above my mistakes and other people's mistakes into a full life of love, of peace, and joy. My dear, dear vibrant friend, release the fear, the guilt, the shame around anything that is holding you back from experiencing a vibrant life. So journal topic.
Can I just ask you to repeat that little mantra of I release the hurt that was caused to me? Or do you want me to just listen to the playback?
Yeah, I can repeat that. Absolutely. I release the hurt that was caused to me by others. And I'll just read through that whole little paragraph. I release the hurt that was caused to me by others. I know now that their actions had nothing to do with me, but rather is a reflection of their skills, understanding, and hurt. I honor all that the hard lessons have brought me as I move and step into a newer, more powerful version of myself, and I am ready to let go. I am ready to let go. And for the areas that I struggle with, I honor the journey of understanding what is binding me to the situation so that I can release it. I'm going to have, just so you know, there is going to be a homework section in the Vibrantly You community in a guide with this recording, and a lot of this stuff will be in there. So don't panic, it's a whole lot of verbiage. If you are watching the playback though, I want you to pause because here's a journal topic for you. Okay. What blocks are holding me back? Do you have a block in money, sex, power, title, relationship? What blocks are you currently experiencing? And start writing about why. And I'm going to challenge you to take this one because this is a really powerful one and journal on the exact same topic for a whole week. The same title. What blocks are holding me back? Do I have a block in what area and why? Because what you write today compared to what you will write a week from now is going to become a lot clearer. You're going to be able to sharpen the lens on what's actually holding you back and what your blocks actually are. Because once you start to understand the deeper thought processes, we kind of have, I don't want to get too sciencey. I can geek out with like neurology things, but we have different layers of which we process thought. So we've got like our brainstem layer, which is really like reactive. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm like all the inside out characters all in my head all the time. And then it gets more complex when we take time to think about them and circulate. Just like if you were to learn how to play any strategy game, checkers, chess, anything like that. You're going to go through X's and O's, like any game, honestly, that has strategy. The first time through, you're kind of reactive. You're like, okay, yep, this. And then once you start to realize that, oh, there's a little bit more to this. Oh, this made me think of something different. What happens is you're able to reflect on a deeper level and it becomes more meaningful. And you start to really understand why you are thinking what you're thinking. And you really start to understand the nuances between the connections of what's holding you back and what's not holding you back, where you can live big and where you're like, I don't want to get hurt. I do not want to get hurt today. And so I put a block there. So take that topic, write about it for a whole week. Thinking about, I do not want to get hurt, thinking about what boundaries we have in place. What makes you really upset? Like you're like cursing, stomping your feet, going through what makes you angry? What makes you cry? Like what just like moves you to tears and makes you feel really big emotions? What makes you laugh? Think about those big emotions. What makes me angry? What makes me sad? What brings me joy? When we consider anytime we've been upset, anytime we've been angry, anytime there's been a boundary that's been crossed and something that just really does not sit well with us, that is because one of your core values has been crossed. So while we certainly don't have time today to go into our core values, that is definitely part of the full curriculum in the new year. You can Google it. You can Google core values, look at a whole list of them. Perhaps your core value is like honesty, integrity, compassion, curiosity, taking risks, staying safe, whatever your core values are. Dial in on what's most important to you. And then every time you are angry, maybe with a spouse, maybe with a kid, maybe with a colleague, you will at least have the power to find your voice to say, you know what, I'm really angry about this. And the reason I'm angry is because one of my core values is integrity. And I feel like you've crossed that with me. It helps us understand as we move through our relationships what we bring to the table, right? All of those things, those core values, they are the ones that determine what we're going to accept. They're the ones that determine what you're like, nope, non-negotiable for me, not going to happen. Okay, how are we feeling? How are we feeling? Are we okay? I'm getting close. I know there's like so much, but I'm taking like, I
You're
like,
breaking up a little, Crystal.
sorry, Kristen.
You're breaking up a lot. Like it's really kind of broken and glitching. Lots of people are commenting in there too. I thought it was just me with my bad internet, but
Okay, I am close to being done. This is being recorded. So the recording will go into the private group. Okay, so hopefully that will help. Thank you, Kristen. I'm not sure on my end, it shows full bars. So I don't know. It's one of those things. One day it works, one day it doesn't. I will share the recording though. You will get this. Okay, we've got a couple more topics. Like I say, I'm taking 6 weeks worth of a full course, and I'm like, ooh, I want to get it down into an hour for you. Okay, let's talk about our power. Friend, you need to quit tripping over yourself. Do you realize the power that you have within yourself? Only you are able to release it. So again, is shame holding you back? Is blame holding you back? Is hurt holding you back? Embrace your feminine energy. Your feminine energy is the energy that says, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe this is going to work out, maybe it's not, but I will always be okay. I will always be able to rise above this. Masculine energy is the one that pushes. Masculine energy needs to have a plan. Masculine energy is like, this is going to happen in this order, okay? Your feminine energy is what lets you know that I'm okay and I can release my power because I know everything is going to be okay. Everything you expose yourself to, that's going to impact your energy. So if you think about exposing yourself to good thoughts, good words, good things, energy boosting things, it's going to rise you up. When you talk negative to yourself, when you expose yourself to negative, when you do all of that, it's going to lower your vibration. It's going to lower your energy. And so when we think about, are we showing up to life as a consumer and we're just taking things in? Or are we going to be active participants? We need to take action on those things that are important to me. Okay, opportunity. I think this is going to be, I'm going to do this one and one more. I try not to be too long, and with internet being questionable, a couple more things. Opportunity. Do you love yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Do you know that you are worthy of whatever comes your way? Only when you intentionally grow yourself, when you take the time to gain skills, experience in whatever it is you're wanting to grow in, will you be ready for an opportunity? No different than when you were starting a new career. If you wanted to be a teacher or a nurse or, you had to have the credentials before that job posting came up. If you waited to see when that job posting comes along, you've missed the boat, my friend. It is too late. It's no different as an adult. Okay, you need to be growing yourself because that's what makes you marketable in whatever avenue you are in. Your personal growth, when worked on consistently, is what's going to be the game changer. Did you know that most people switch careers 5 to 7 times throughout their working life? That's hugely different than what it was 30 years ago, hugely different. This year alone, approximately 30% of people in the workplace are going to change their job within 12 months. 30% of the workforce is constantly changing jobs. So think about that and think about where you're at. Now, personal growth, it comes with a cost. Students get student loans. We think that's okay. You know, people in different trades, they have to have different certification. We think that's okay. But then something funny happens as a woman so often. We get to the stage of life where we think, it's okay for my husband to take a course, or it's okay for my children to do these things, but for whatever reason, we don't invest in ourselves. Now, John Maxwell says, the dream is free, but the journey is not. Everything comes at a cost. Trust yourself to invest in yourself. You took the time tonight out of your schedule. There's many other things you could have been doing. You took the time to be here. That gives you a cost. There are courses you can take that come at a cost. There are all different types of things. Be willing to choose you and trust yourself. That power and potential, it lies within you. You already have the power that you need. Give yourself permission to own it. Give yourself permission to have the power to learn new skills. You're not too old. It's not too late. One of my favorite lessons around you're not too old was actually as a young adult. I was at a church service where they used to have people stand up and give prayer requests. Well, this man, I don't remember how old he was, maybe 90, like he was old. He stood up and he said, today is my birthday. And my prayer for this year is that I don't grow older in my walk. I want to put a B on the front of that. And I want to grow bolder in my walk. How are you on your walk, my friend? Are you growing bolder, or are you just getting older? I'm going to challenge you to step into all you were meant to be. There's a lot of information here. A lot of information. How far are we? 48 minutes in. There's a lot of information here. And I'm almost done. Peace. Do you have peace? A vibrant life can only come to those who know and embrace peace. Peace knowing that you are perfectly whole just as you are. And you're going to be okay. It's choosing to take a risk, knowing that if you fail, you fail, but you're going to be fine. It's choosing to love yourself and others, even though you've been hurt, because right now is all you have, and you are worthy. You are worthy of love. It's choosing to play big. It's undaunted by all the what ifs in life, because we all experience hard stuff. That's part of the human experience. But by choosing to live and love anyway, because what if? What if it all works out? What if it all turns out to be even better than what we ever thought possible? It's time to live undaunted. Once you truly love yourself and all your gifts, your strengths, your weaknesses, you can move about the world undaunted. You know that you always show up for yourself and for the people around you. You know you will make mistakes. Welcome to being human. But it's not going to inhibit your drive to move boldly through your days. So what's your next step? Well, that's on you. You have the power to decide. Are you going to show up next week to learn how to find your voice and how to communicate effectively, from everything from a volunteer meeting to a boardroom? Are you going to register for Life by Design in January? Life by Design is a course I've referenced several times. It is designed for you, where you will spend 6 weeks unpacking each one of these areas, and you will figure out who you are, what you love, what your passion is, what brings you most alive, and what is that plan to unleash who you are in the world. So if that's something where you're like, you know what, this is my next step, just write it below Life by Design, and I will send you a registration link. This course is going to be deeply discounted for December only. And then in January, it's going to go up. We will go right up to, I presented a Women in Leadership Conference in the spring, so it's going to go January, February. Okay. Lastly, do you have somebody who could have benefited from this last just about hour together? Do you know somebody who you need to invite to and say, you know what, have a listen? We had this coffee conversation the other day and I thought of you. This is totally free. Have your friends listen, share this with them, and just be that light for yourself and for the people around you. And with that, hopefully it recorded well. I will share the link. I'm going to share some slides with your homework in a guide. So you'll see that by tomorrow. And reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you so very much for being here. Your energy, your passion, your vulnerability to do the journaling, to do the visualization. This is all for you. Have the most